Santa Barbara, the city you love. But to keep Santa Barbara the city of your dreams, you need to participate. And to participate, you need information. Get it from the source. City TV is the window to Santa Barbara city government. Television, internet, live or on your schedule. City TV. Stay informed, participate, and dream big.
Hi, I'm Becky Davis with City TV. Welcome to Inside Santa Barbara, the city's only news magazine show. We bring you up to date on the city's most significant issues, projects, and events. Santa Barbara's Funk Zone is a thriving area filled with youthful energy. It's home to restaurants, wine tasting rooms, art, music, breweries, and a mix of retail. Recently, the community came together to address one of the area's biggest challenges while keeping the funk in the zone. The Funk Zone was originally developed as the warehouse, industrial, and manufacturing part of town, and in its early years it was the storage area for products such as lumber being offloaded from ships at Stearns Wharf. After decades of industrial use, the Funk Zone started to take on an eclectic feel, with artists and craftspeople of all types filling the spaces. Today, its popularity and the speed of development gradually began to create pressures on parking and infrastructure. Due to these pressures, business and property owners asked the city to add additional parking resources in the area. In response to the request, city staff met with stakeholders, held public workshops, and conducted parking surveys to better understand the situation.
We've heard concerns about the lack of public parking. And we've heard concerns about employees versus customers. Where do my customers park? Employees may be taking up more of the customer parking. The distance of the parking facilities from the center of the Funk Zone. We have the depot lot, and then we have the lot over near the waterfront. And now the Californian is also a public lot. But they're not right in the Funk Zone. So we've heard concerns, is it too far, or I don't have signage to get there?
Recently, city staff held a listening workshop to hear what the community liked about the area, as well as concerns and ideas for improvements.
We want to hear from business owners, from property owners, from people who are doing work in the Funk Zone. We want to hear what their interests are. And then from there, we can create some solutions that address those interests. So the listening workshop is a more effective way for us to engage and understand the issues that may be there before we act.
The most exciting part of the Funk Zone for me, and I think it's the thing that attracts both locals and visitors to Santa Barbara, to the neighborhood, is this very distinct entrepreneurial spirit that exists here. We have a lot of small independent businesses that are locally owned and locally created by a wide range of really innovative and exciting entrepreneurs. So I think that originality, kind of coupled with that spirit of entrepreneurism, is a very attractive force that people come down, they want to be a part of it, they want to experience it, they want to see something new.
I like its walkability. I'd like it to be more walkable. I'd like to see improvements in the infrastructure on the sidewalks and crosswalks so it's even more walkable. A lot of the draw of the Funk Zone is not somewhere you're going to stay for 3 hours, but somewhere you're going to go to 6 different places for 30 minutes. And so I really see that as the draw and what's attracting so many people, and probably, you know, when we look back in 20 years will be a characteristic that needs to be applied to other retail corridors in town.
Listening workshops are not new for the city. They prove to be an invaluable tool to gather public input for other planning efforts.
We first did the listening workshop style on the east side for the traffic management program about 10 years ago, and that was very effective then. And then we've since done the listening workshop in the Mission Canyon area to understand the interest there. And so it's been a very successful tool for everyone to get their opinions heard down to the individual, rather than being intimidating and speaking up at a meeting. You can actually be around a table and have a conversation.
Perhaps the biggest challenge in the Funk Zone is how to make improvements while not negatively impacting the obvious success that has taken the area by storm.
It's thriving. It's thriving right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of activity, a lot of demand for the use of the area. And one of the things that about 4 years ago, when the city of Santa Barbara was talking about the Funk Zone, it was like, leave the funk in the zone. Don't mess with the funk. And so that is still on the table. People who will be here tonight, we'll ask them specifically concerning parking or concerning access to the Funk Zone, what should be left alone? What shouldn't be touched?
One of the challenges we're going to have is that we're probably on a cusp of changes in social lifestyle, whether it's parking, the use of automobiles, experiential type of uses rather than your traditional retail type of uses. And part of that challenge will be a zoning process or regulations that go back 100 years, and how quickly can we get them to adapt to what's actually on the ground or what people want to do right now.
I think because of the area growing so quickly, not only in the number of businesses coming into the area, but the number of visitors coming to experience it. And that's created opportunity, but also challenges in the flow of people, the movement of people. How do we, bring people into the neighborhood safely, and how do we make sure that the neighborhood's working together as a community and really as an integral part of the rest of the city.
Another item of interest being discussed is how can the Funk Zone and downtown businesses work together to benefit the economic vitality of each other.
Downtown and the Funk Zone are working very well together right now. We are trying to make it so people from downtown come to the Funk Zone, people from the Funk Zone come to downtown. We want to make that a much easier process, and so we feel helping out with the parking and for them to resolve some of their problems they're having down here will benefit both places.
The Funk Zone very much wants to be an integral part of the city. We want to work collaboratively both with the city government as well as the other neighborhoods and other business districts. Any ways that we can be smarter about how we are accommodating both our local population as well as our very large visitor population, we're excited about that.
City staff has evaluated the input from the workshop and conducted a parking study learning how many parking spaces exist, the duration of use, and who is using them. An online survey was sent out and over 100 additional people responded, capturing additional input from those unable to attend the workshop. Staff is now in the process of packaging all the information for review by the Downtown Parking Committee, and based on that review, a menu of options will be presented to the community in an action workshop where the proposed solutions will be vetted, ultimately resulting in a community-driven plan intended to make the Funk Zone experience more accessible for everyone. The action workshop for the Funk Zone process will take place this fall. Just a few years ago, this beautiful parcel of land was destined to become a housing development, but now it's slated to become something we can all enjoy. Stephanie Harmon has the story.
The Creeks Division was started by a vote of the public to restore natural creek areas in the city of Santa Barbara and to improve surface water quality in the creeks and in the ocean.
And since 2001, the Creeks Division has been doing just that on a small and large scale. The Arroyo Burro Open Space is the site of the city's newest creek restoration project and open space park.
This project really focuses on improving the creekside habitat here. So it's about 4 acres, 1,400 linear feet of the creek will be impacted and improved through this project.
The park is situated in the Arroyo Burro watershed, which spans over 9 square miles and is one of the lesser developed watersheds in the city.
When we talk about creek restoration, what we're talking about is restoring the natural function of the creek system. And so A lot of the creeks in Santa Barbara have been degraded through urban development, agricultural development. The creek channels have been severely eroded because of large volumes of water that run off the streets and off of hard surfaces in the city.
The project will concentrate on a 4-acre area, and the focus will be restoring the creek habitat while improving water quality and creek aesthetics.
We have a number of areas where there's sedimentation and erosion happening, and so we'll be coming in and stabilizing the toe with some large rock, actually shifting the creek over a little bit to reduce the stress that bank feels, and then creating floodplain habitat all on this opposite side of the bank, spreading out and slowing down of flood flows, which allows for infiltration of groundwater, but also the trapment of sediments and nutrients, so you actually get some treatment of that water during high storm events. It also provides for a wider creek zone, so what I call riparian habitat, which is really important ecological habitat adjacent to creeks. So we get pretty much only native tall stature trees along our creek corridors, so sycamores, cottonwoods, which are a really unique habitat for birds, mammals, as well as aquatic resources in the creek channel.
During the restoration, a number of non-native and invasive plants will be removed and replaced with natives.
So there's a number of non-natives on the property. We've got eucalyptus trees, arundo, which is bamboo-like grass species. It's very fast growing and outcompetes natives, as well as a number of more herbaceous understory non-natives like nasturtium and cape ivy and things that really just kind of choke out the native understory. So all of those will be targeted for removal as part of the project and restored with native trees and native understory species.
These native plants provide food and habitat for local wildlife. It is important to preserve and restore open spaces in urban areas when possible.
Open space in California just is disappearing rapidly. And in this area, with the property values being what they are, and with the pressures for housing and for development, places like this just disappear. And once they're gone, they're gone. So for future generations and for wildlife, for a number of reasons that I think everybody can appreciate, this parkland here will remain parkland forever.
This beautiful piece of land has not always been a public space.
It was once developed as a golf course. It was used for agricultural purposes. It was the site of a mineral water bottling company at one time, and it was actually approved at one time for a significant size subdivision.
The development was voted down by the community, and the property was purchased by the city's Creeks Division with help from a grant secured by the Trust for Public Lands.
We're fortunate that there was a number of other people in the community who also saw the potentials for open space and preservation.
These projects take a village, certainly. There are a lot of people who are interested and a lot of groups who are interested in preserving this property. And without that type of concerted effort, I don't think we would have had the opportunity to purchase this property.
As part of the grant funding that was received for the acquisition, there is a conservation easement over the property which provides legal protections in perpetuity to ensure that this property will be wild and natural forever.
The community members that we have talked to are very excited by the city taking ownership of this and taking responsibility to restore the creek environment and improve conditions on the property for open space use.
Restoration of the creek is scheduled to start in late July, but the western part of the park will remain open for recreation. And as a friendly reminder, dogs are allowed, but only on leash. For more information about the project or the Creeks Division, visit sbcreeks.com. We'll be right back with more Inside Santa Barbara.
Hug the coast on your way to work. Early morning train service starts April 2nd from Ventura County to Santa Barbara and Goleta. Arrive at work refreshed and ready for the day. Enjoy a hot coffee. Stay relaxed. Free Wi-Fi sound good? It's time to experience a better way to travel. Go to PacificSurfliner.com or contact a traffic solutions specialist to book your tickets and find out more.
Unlike landlines, Cell phones are not automatically registered with the Reverse 911 system. That means if you don't register,
this is the Santa Barbara County Reverse 911 system. Due to the community emergency, authorities are issuing a mandatory
you won't get the call. To register your cell phone, go to awareandprepare.org.
Welcome back. Water mains are a critical part of the water distribution system. Up next, find out what needs to be done to keep things flowing.
Water. It's one of those things we can't live without, but probably don't think much about what it takes to get to our faucets. In Santa Barbara, we're fortunate to get our water from a number of sources like lakes, groundwater, and now desalination. But along the way between those water sources and your house, different minerals and other constituents are picked up that can accumulate in water mains over time.
A lot of the buildup is mineral buildup, scaling, iron and manganese, things that you traditionally find within the sources of our water. So we have groundwater, surface water, and now desal.
While not harmful, this buildup can affect the taste and look of drinking water, as well as the performance of the water distribution system. To deal with this buildup, the City Water Resources Division has had a water main flushing program for decades. But the old flushing method, used to clear out all 300 miles of city water mains every year, was suspended in 2013 because it had one significant drawback.
The traditional flushing method required use of our fire hydrants within our system, so we would open them up at a certain GPM and flow and flush all the water out of the system. Unfortunately, the traditional method wasted a lot of water.
To be more specific, the old flushing method sent 13 million gallons of potable water down storm drains every year, a fact City Council and Water Resources staff found unacceptable during a drought. After researching less wasteful methods, Water Resources staff conducted a pilot project with an innovative solution called the Neutral Output Discharge Elimination System, or NODES. The technique entails connecting a filtration system to two fire hydrants, creating a temporary loop in the water main system.
We found it to be very successful, and in looking at how to do this long term, we decided that it would be most cost effective to go ahead and procure our own piece of equipment and integrate it into our water main program.
The NODES process pumps the water at a velocity high enough to scour the buildup from the water mains, then passes it through a series of filters that remove sediment, biofilm, and particulate matter. It wastes virtually no water and has other advantages over the conventional method, like greater data acquisition.
Now that it's going through the filter truck, we're actually able to look at chlorine levels, turbidity, things like that, and so we're able to take samples and actually get a lot of data from the areas that we're flushing.
We also realized that there was some benefits to flushing the system in a unidirectional manner, which is you get an idea of the velocities and any restrictions or constraints that may occur in the pipe, and then also get an understanding of the buildup in the water mains in these areas.
The NODES system has been so successful, other municipalities have been looking to follow suit.
We were one of the first to pilot this, and in fact we've had other agencies calling us, asking us how it's going. It's popular, it's going to be the future of flushing and water distribution.
As the Water Resources Division cleans its way through the city's water main system with this cutting-edge technology, you can rest assured that the water delivered to your meter is continually tested and meets or exceeds all state and federal water quality standards. You can also feel good that virtually no water is being wasted to accomplish this.
We're real excited that we were able to procure this piece of equipment and integrate it into our water main program. Really happy with the fact that we were able to pilot it, that it was a success, and that it's got multiple benefits that'll better serve the community long term.
If you're experiencing water discoloration, you can flush your private plumbing system by opening an outdoor spigot and letting it run for 10 to 15 seconds. You can also use an indoor cold water faucet. If the problem persists, call Public Works at 564-5413. After decades of only having a 4-foot wide pedestrian bridge to get across Sycamore Creek at Cacique, the city made some changes that have thrilled pedestrians and bicyclists alike.
If you've ever tried to cut across the Lower East Side and made the mistake of taking Cacique Street, you know the feeling. So close, yet so far. You see, Cacique abruptly dead ends at Sycamore Creek, a tantalizingly short distance from the other side. Cacique had a footbridge for a while, but in case you're wondering, yes, there used to be a vehicle bridge.
Previously, there was a vehicle bridge that went through along Cacique Street. It was actually removed in 1977. Right before the rainy season, after the Sycamore Canyon fire, as a flood preventative measure by county flood control. And after that, the bridge was never replaced, and instead they put a 4-foot pedestrian wood bridge.
The old bridge was fine if you were crossing by yourself, but it didn't meet today's standards.
It's always been very rickety. It squeaked, and you would look at the planks. It was not good.
It was definitely undersized and dilapidated, so needed much more than improvement to be replaced.
The city had replacement of the Cacique footbridge on its radar for a while, but after hearing from the public during the East Side Neighborhood Transportation Management Plan process, something else was learned. Soledad, which means loneliness or isolation in Spanish, was living up to its name, keeping kids and their parents from a quicker, more direct route to school.
The community expressed the need for a connection to Soledad Street in order to get to Franklin and El Adelante schools. So previously, students would either go through the creek or have to go around at least a few blocks to get to school, or they would also cross private properties.
The resulting Cacique and Soledad pedestrian, bicycle bridges and corridor improvements project includes not one but 2 bridges, with plenty of room for pedestrians and bicyclists alike. The 75-foot-long bridges are quite a bit broader than the creek in order to accommodate any future creek widening. The project also includes improved lighting and landscaping, as well as a number of creek-friendly elements.
So we work closely with the Creeks Department to identify native plants that will be installed all along the creek banks and parkways, as well as implemented their stormwater management plan, BMPs, through infiltration basins and dry wells that will capture the stormwater runoff.
And to top it all off, the project was almost completely funded with grants, something the city of Santa Barbara is better at acquiring than any other municipality in the state.
So the total project cost is about $2.7 million, fully funded by the Active Transportation Program, with minimal city funds provided in order to account for future landscape maintenance.
The new bridges are a vital part of a highly used pedestrian and bicycle corridor, giving East Side residents convenient connection to schools, Milpas, the beach, and beyond.
I think it's inviting. I think a lot of people are going to utilize the bicycle path to the beach. So yeah, it's good. It's an improvement to the neighborhood.
It's just amazing. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's opened up and landscaped and keeping with the feeling of the neighborhood. Everybody loves it.
To find out more about this or any other large public works project in the city, visit santabarbaraca.gov and click on the construction activity link in the sidebar. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more Inside Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara, the city you love. But to keep Santa Barbara the city of your dreams, you need to participate. And to participate, you need information. Get it from the source. City TV is the window to Santa Barbara city government. Television, internet, live or on your schedule. City TV. Stay informed, participate, and dream big.
Welcome back. Renovation of the 90-year-old Cabrillo Pavilion is underway. The project will preserve this iconic building's historical integrity while creating a community recreation and social center that is safe and accessible for all to enjoy for decades to come. The Cabrillo Pavilion has been a cherished community asset for over 90 years. In 1925, the citizens of Santa Barbara came together to pass Bond Measure 1 to purchase the land for the pavilion after a rendering of the bathhouse was printed in the morning press. The pavilion was built, paid for, and donated to the city by David Gray.
David Gray gave this facility to the city of Santa Barbara for recreational and park purposes.
Because he wanted it to be a civic building for civic events and enjoyment.
The vision of the original gift also was public access at the beach.
Renovation of this iconic landmark is now underway. The project will preserve the building's historical integrity while creating a modern community recreation and social center that is safe, accessible, and usable for all to enjoy for decades to come. The Cabrillo Pavilion is Santa Barbara's hub for beach life, providing recreation services to all Santa Barbara residents with free or affordable programs.
The beach house was a facility that was very desirable to come to. A lot of scenery, good food, had a weight room that was inexpensive. I used to get a punch card with my buddy and we used to go in, training in the facility, doing the powerlifting meets, and that led me into personal training. And my hobby was powerlifting, but I got known as like a powerlifting coach, which was fine, and I continue to do that today.
It is the birthplace of beach volleyball in Santa Barbara, and home to the Santa Barbara Triathlon and the iconic Junior Lifeguards program.
The Cabrillo Pavilion is technically like the base camp for junior lifeguards. We function out of it, we meet there, we plan there, like everything we do is out of the pavilion, and it just plays such a big part of junior lifeguards. It's hard to imagine the camp without it.
So I volunteered with the lifeguard program starting in 2000, and to this day I still go every summer and help with the recurrent training. I fill in with the junior lifeguards when they need help there. You know, my kids were a part of the junior lifeguard program. The pavilion is a place that we spend a lot of our time.
We came to, it was some kind of party upstairs, and it was before they put the carpeting down, and I loved to dance, and so the whole floor was a dance floor. It was a beautiful wooden floor, and man, you could dance. It was really great.
The renovation will include seismic retrofitting and restored historic architecture with an added elevator and ADA-compliant accessibility. The beach level will feature multi-purpose fitness areas, including modern locker rooms and family changing rooms, as well as a casual beachfront restaurant. Expanded activities, classes, and camps with longer operating hours and weekend staffing will help to better meet the needs of youth and families. And the beach boardwalk and sand areas will provide a venue for beach sports, equipment rentals, large outdoor sporting events, and beach festivals. The newly renovated pavilion will be a safe, convenient meeting place for groups with capacity for indoor receptions, trainings, conferences, and large special events.
I get very excited at the potential of this building and what it means to the community and what it enabled the Parks and Recreation Department to be able to do over the years, especially from a programming standpoint.
Well, this is a rich part of Santa Barbara's history. It's a beautiful piece of architecture, so reminiscent of what our city is known for.
Santa Barbara is very special in that you don't have anything built along this beach area except for the Arts Pavilion. This is it. So you got a front row seat to look at the whole Santa Barbara coast from right here, from the pier to Montecito.
Having this 90-year-old building be on this side of Cabrillo Boulevard, right basically next to the sand, you just can't get that anymore. There's no way you could build this anymore. So it's iconic, it's unique, it's just a one-of-a-kind place that can't be replicated. And so I'm so excited we're going to be able to revitalize and renew this place to its glory from the 30s and 40s.
The vision of David Gray still holds true today by providing a place for the community to meet, celebrate, and recreate. Help carry on the legacy of Santa Barbara's most beloved community building while meeting the needs of future generations. Your support of the campaign for the Cabrillo Pavilion is a vital part of this exciting and iconic project. All gifts will go directly to the renovation construction costs. With your generosity, you will help extend the pavilion's legacy as a community recreation and social destination. Please join the Park Foundation as we restore, renew, and revive the jewel of East Beach.
Your support of the fundraising campaign for the Cabrillo Pavilion is a vital part of this project. To find out about more ways to give, naming opportunities, or to learn more about the project, visit cabrillopavilion.org. It's Santa Barbara's premier place to play softball, but at nearly 100 years old, it's in need of some upgrades. Up next, we take a look at the big changes in store for Cabrillo Ballpark.
Play ball!
When it comes to ball fields, few are more picturesque than the Cabrillo Ballpark. Located between Cabrillo Boulevard, Milpas, and Calle Puerto Vallarta, the 5-acre park offers beach, ocean, and mountain views. But other than some recent lighting and fencing upgrades, the park has been virtually unchanged since the city acquired the property in the 1920s.
It needed to be revitalized. There's areas that were underutilized, and we're going to expand the recreation opportunities. And to do so, we needed to increase circulation as well as add safety elements.
After getting input from neighbors and other stakeholders, construction on the $1.5 million Cabrillo Ballpark renovation project began in February.
The entire ball field will be replaced with brand new sod. The infield has brand new brick dust. The area behind the backstop was replaced, so now it's accessible. We've increased circulation around the restroom on the front, Calle Puerto Vallarta and Milpas, pulled the fencing off, added new landscaping. We're going to have a new sign up there to really open up the corner, as well as this corner. This was really overgrown and lots of hiding spots and trash would just build up, and now we have this beautiful focal point of our whimsical bent tree. We also have 5 new light poles going down the Cabrillo Boulevard area to increase the safety aspects for our equipment in the evening and dusk. The restroom will be remodeled as part of this project as well, so they'll have a nice, clean facility to use.
The project will also include outdoor fitness equipment.
We've added these pads throughout the Cabrillo Boulevard area here, and we're going to add 14 pieces of stationary exercise equipment on it. Currently, we have down the street here at the Andrea Clark Bird Refuge, we have 4 pieces down there. That was our starting point to see how well it'd be used by the community, and we found that it would definitely be used. And with the underutilized area of the ball field, it's a really great spot with all the people going through here, exercising at the beach and coming down to be active. We thought it'd be a great spot for it.
And in conjunction with the Lower Milpas Sidewalk Infill Project, which is currently underway, access in and around the park will be greatly enhanced.
Well, we were fortunate enough that the Lower Milpas infill project was occurring the same time, so that we only disturbed the area once, and they're adding a sidewalk along Milpas on the other side of the park where there wasn't one, and people were walking in the street. So with us increasing the circulation here and the circulation being increased over there, we feel like it's really going to be a better use of the corner for everybody.
The Cabrillo Ballpark renovation project will be completed soon, but the park won't reopen until September in order to allow the grass to get reestablished. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more Inside Santa Barbara.
I grew up here, I've made memories here, and I love being able to drive around knowing that this is my community, I'm helping my community.
We care, and we want to make this community a better place.
This career is for someone who wants to be challenged deep down inside to better a community.
It's the best job in the world, it really is. It's like a dream come true. Join your home team.
Welcome back. Okay, you commuters out there, listen up. What if I were to tell you you could avoid traffic and get to Santa Barbara from Ventura or even Camarillo for less than $4 round trip? It may sound too good to be true, but it's not. City TV's Chris Bell has the proof.
It may seem like a commonplace sound, but it's music to the ears of commuters. That's because after years of asking for it, morning train service during commute hours has finally arrived. The service isn't new. It's actually a shift in Amtrak's Pacific Surfliner schedule. Instead of late morning, the train now picks up commuters in Ventura just after 6 a.m. and Carpinteria around 6:30. Then it stops in Santa Barbara at 6:47, with the last stop in Goleta at 7:16. Up till now, the 15,000 commuters who come from the south every weekday have had two options: brave clockwork-like snail-paced traffic or shift their schedule.
I was leaving Ventura at 5 a.m. to try to get up to Goleta by 6 ahead of the traffic. It was a very early schedule at my work. I was leaving work around 2:30, same thing, trying to get home before the traffic. My employer, everybody else was 8 to 5, so it was a little uncomfortable for them. So this schedule now, I'm at work an hour later, which works better for the work hours.
But one thing I like about the train is that the schedule is predictable in the evening. Because the problem with the commuter bus, I mean, they're efficient, they're quick, point to point, where I want to go. But especially sometimes the evening commute can get pretty long because there will be a traffic jam. And there's no traffic jam with the train.
The early morning train service is a reality because of the tenacious advocacy of local elected officials and the passage of tax measures, Measure A in 2008 and SB 1 in 2017.
Back in 2008, congestion along 101 was a major issue, and it still is. We are working on an HOV project from Ventura County all the way up to Santa Barbara. We're halfway done. But as an alternative, the train is an alternative mode of transportation. We want to promote people getting out of their cars, and so that was part of the Measure A program. And I got to give a plug to SB 1. SB 1 provided the funding to the state to provide half of the cost of operating this new train service. So without that, we wouldn't be here today.
The trains offer wide seats, free Wi-Fi, and plugs to power your devices, as well as a cafe car offering coffee, snacks, and even craft beer. And special fares make taking the train hard to beat. Commuters coming from Ventura County can get a 10-ride pass for $50 or an unlimited monthly pass for $150. That means if you commute by train 5 days a week, you'll be paying $3.75 a trip. Those coming from Carpinteria pay even less. And some employers are incentivizing commute by rail to make it even more attractive and convenient.
We have many employees that live in Ventura County and also Carpinteria, and this service will get them to work rested, right? They're not fighting the traffic on 101, and the city is paying for 75% of their train fare.
That's a huge savings. For me alone, I was spending over $250 a month in gas.
This community, I think we're very alternative mode friendly. The employers have stepped up, and I know some employers are actually picking up their employees from the train station and providing them a direct connection to their employer site.
Santa Barbara, thank you for choosing.
If your employer doesn't offer shuttle service, you still have a number of options to get from the train to work and back. For starters, you can get some exercise and walk.
I was commuting for 5 years, which I was sitting in a car, for my commute for almost an hour and a half each way. So walking up and down State Street and having that option has improved my health overall. When I get to work, I feel revitalized.
For cyclists, you can take your bike on the train, or you can reserve a locker at the station. Traffic Solutions is even offering a program where you can earn a free folding bike simply by riding the train. MTD is also supporting rail commuters with free last mile service.
So last mile service is connecting bus service from the train station to where people work. MTD is contracted with Santa Barbara County Association of Governments to provide that service in the morning and the afternoon. And we have 3 different routes, one in downtown Santa Barbara from the Santa Barbara station, and 2 from the Goleta station serving west and east portions of Goleta. If you have a valid Pacific Surfliner ticket, it's free. And that's actually the case for all of our services on any day. If you have a valid Surfliner ticket through the Transit Transfer Program, you just show your valid train ticket to the bus driver and you ride any of our services for free.
However you make your connections, taking the train for your commute instead of the freeway has tremendous environmental, economic, and quality of life benefits.
Those are all win-wins for all of us, getting people off the roads, off our major highways, as well as our local roads, reducing congestion in the morning hours and in the evening. And it also reduces our need for parking.
One nice thing about the commuting time is I have some downtime to kind of sit there and snooze or do other things. It's not only, if I'm working a long day, coming home at night, there are times when I have to slap myself to stay awake, so it's safer.
We've just been relaxing, enjoying the ride. Yeah. I mean, when we have been leaving, we haven't seen the traffic backed up. We're like, haha, we're not there.
If you'd like to learn more about the commuter train service, visit trafficsolutions.org/train. What do a paper airplane, a mound of mud, and a mailbox have in common? They were all sculptures in the recent State of the Art Gallery exhibition on State Street. Up next, City TV's Ryder Chris shows us more of these sculptures and how art enhances the downtown experience.
If you've walked down State Street lately, you may have noticed some new artistic additions.
Part of what makes Santa Barbara such a beautiful, often idyllic place is the culture of creation and creators who live here and help contribute to that community fabric.
And those creators have created new sculptures for the 2018 State of the Art Gallery.
We're really excited to have sculptures back out on State Street. They add a lot of visual appeal to the street, and that's important for downtown vibrancy.
According to the 2016 Creative Community Report, Santa Barbara is ranked 9th out of 367 municipalities for working artists per capita. And this art exhibition is a fun way of connecting people to art.
Our great hope is the State of Art Gallery will be a living museum on State Street that can engage our residents, our shopkeepers, our store owners, our visitors, and provide everyone a different way to commune with the arts and our local artists.
8 sculptures, made by local artists, have been placed along State Street from Ortega up to Victoria Street. Each sculpture offers a unique element that centers around celebrating Santa Barbara's culture, spirit, and resilience.
The Mailbox Project was inspired because our town really needed a voice. The people really needed, I think, to be able to tell their stories. 2 natural disasters in a row hit us kind of hard.
The 2 recent natural disasters were also an inspiration for the sculpture Permission to Heal. Artist Brooke Smiley used the mud from Montecito to form a super adobe structure in the shape of the Venus of Willendorf to allow people to take pause and reflect.
Our bodies want to interact with art and processing those emotions about the disaster or how we connect to one another in this community. It's a joy, it's a total gift to be able to have created this here.
Leaves of Grass artist Patty Firestone says sculptures teach an invaluable lesson.
One of the things I think is most important about sculpture is you have an idea and then you have to make it concrete. And in how many parts of our lives, whether it be a small business, you have an idea and you need to see how to make it happen. And with sculpture, you have an idea and you figure out how to make it happen. You find the right people, you find the right materials.
In addition to the lessons to be learned, the State of the Art Gallery exhibition also brings a much-needed boost in the foot traffic on State Street.
Art and cultural activities bring people downtown. They get people shopping, moving about, and we want people to go check out an exhibit, come downtown and see the sculptures, go out to dinner afterwards. Maybe you can browse some of the shops downtown. It's really important to have a thriving experience when you come downtown.
Sculptor Luis Vasquez says art on State Street can be used as a focal point when traversing the downtown corridor.
For someone to be like, you know what, let's go to Santa Barbara and let's go downtown Santa Barbara and we can meet where the paper airplane is. that kind of like that point where friends can meet and explore the rest of the city.
The state-of-the-art gallery is not a new concept for Santa Barbara. Originally, it was a partnership between the city, the downtown organization, and the redevelopment agency. In 2011, the California State Supreme Court ruled to dissolve all redevelopment agencies in California. Without the funding from the redevelopment agency, the state-of-the-art gallery exhibition could not continue. But now, after 10 years,
the state-of-the-art is back! Yeah.
It's really great that that the city and all of these art programs are coming together to really support artists and young coming artists from Santa Barbara.
The state-of-the-art gallery exhibition is made possible with funding support from the city, Santa Barbara Beautiful, and in partnership with the Santa Barbara Museum of Art, the Museum of Contemporary Art, the County Arts Commission, and the Arts Collaborative.
There's so many people that stop and notice the art, and I'm only here a fraction of the time, but every time I'm here I see people stop and interact with it. They really love it.
Even though this is the first year back for the arts exhibition, artists and spectators seem to be taking an interest in the sculptures and hope it will be back for years to come.
I think anytime you put art out there and it's well received and people are interacting with it, then that's the biggest form of praise you can get as an artist. So I'm really happy people understand the importance of why it's there and how it can be used and who it can serve. I think it can serve everybody.
To learn more about the different art exhibits near you, visit sbac.ca.gov. Well, that does it for this episode of Inside Santa Barbara. If you have any questions or comments about the show, you can give us a call at 564-5311. If you missed something, not to worry, you can watch the show online at santabarbaraca.gov/citytv. I'm your host, Becky Davis. Remember to get involved inside Santa Barbara.
Toilet for leaks and made repairs.
I only do full loads in my washing machine and my dishwasher.
I save my shower water to water my landscaping.
I check for leaks by turning off all water and looking for movement in my water meter. Do your part. Get a free water checkup from your water provider. Keep saving water, Santa Barbara County.
Santa Barbara, the city you love. But to keep Santa Barbara the city of your dreams, you need to participate. And to participate, you need information. Get it from the source. City TV is the window to Santa Barbara city government. Television, internet, live or on your schedule. City TV. Stay informed, participate, and dream big.